see. Can we have Remy? Okay, bio. Okay, thank you, bio. Is Paul there? I think we had a community earlier. Is he still here? Okay, go ahead, Paul. Awesome. Okay, community. Awesome, awesome. So, by the way, though I know it's not today, it's not the International Women's Day, but let us celebrate the women who are in our midst. If you are there, you want to open your camera up for some few minutes, women, to celebrate with you guys on the International Women's Day. We are a group that are helping with diversity and inclusion here in Canada. So I think it's worthy to celebrate the women amongst us in recognition of their own participation and the progress of the industry. So if you don't mind, just briefly, let us celebrate the women that are in our midst today. Congratulations on the journey so far on uh, being part of those group of people who have been exploring areas that you never thought women would participate in the industry. So we want to congratulate all of us as well, and the women who are in our midst today. Thank you. I appreciate everybody for joining and the introduction. So Right now, let's look at a little bit of a presentation that I have. But by the way, I want those of you guys who might be looking to have your resume reviewed, we would open up the breakout room already so that you can go in there. We have three. So, for example, I want Christy and Okiomute to be able to leave early. So I'm going to open up that breakout room so that you guys can start going into the room if you are going to be with Okiomute. So as Okiomute mentioned, is going to be helping those who are in business analysis, project management, and Christy is going to be helping with those who are in procurement and general management. So I'll open up just for their own sake, so that if you're in that group, you might want to quickly reach out or go into that room to start having your resume reviewed. So I'm going to open all those breakout rooms anyways. But no, for the rest of us who will join just immediately after the presentation. So it's open for anyone to join, whichever one that applies to you. So we have the business analysis, IT and engineering, operations, procurement and general management, supply chain and logistics. So that will be it. So I will do a quick presentation here. It's a short one. I'll try to keep it 15 minutes. Okay, well, let's say 30 minutes. I don't want to overpromise because, yeah, it's also a very important presentation, right? So we need to have that presentation to give perspectives to what we're doing today. And I'll also be doing some assessments during the presentation. The assessment during the presentation is actually to help you know where you are on the job search roadmap. Basically, because the job search roadmap, it's it's something that we want to make sure that everybody understands, especially those who are new here in Canada. It's very, very important to understand how the supply chain roadmap works. Yeah, I think I need to do something about my LinkedIn live here. It's showing something else entirely. So let me try to share my screen instead. Just give me a second here. I'm multitasking. Bio, if you see anyone who is trying to join while I'm figuring things out here, please do help. Okay, so share. Okay. Okay, so we're talking about SWOT resume today. You can see my screen, guys. Okay, great. Well, I already introduced myself, but I won't go too much into this. Um, Supply chain career mentor. I'm also a procurement and PMP certified certification instructor, the founder of Surya Project Services. By the way, I also have a full-time job to pay bills. I I teach at the Red River College, so I also teach. I teach procurement. I teach supply chain and project management at Red River College. Okay, so today's discussion, we will talk about the job search roadmap, what it means, why you have to be on this roadmap, otherwise you might not really be, you know, getting close to your goals, the goal of integrating successfully into your desired career if you are not on this roadmap. So resume challenges, we talk briefly about resume challenges, one pager, and we'll look at what a short resume should be, and look at the tools, and then we'll go to the review with the mentors. So what is the job search roadmap? Well, the job search roadmap offers a lean approach guided by a mentor to streamline your job search in just 90 days. So this is something we cover in a different presentation, but I brought this, what I call the Pareto rule of job search here, to help you understand specifically what you should be doing to get you to achieve your goal of integration here in Canada as soon as possible, especially breaking into your industry. So leverage referrals is very, very important to use referrals whenever you're applying. Like referrals, I know you can't just jump on somebody's LinkedIn and then be asking them to refer you, but there is a process to it. And I think this process is really what we're trying to emphasize here. You need to speak with people who are within the company that you're applying to. Don't be the random candidates. The random candidates really are not doing very well. These are the guys who would say they are applying to 100 jobs and then they are not even hearing from anyone because they are applying randomly. If you've been doing that, then you need to change that. You need to have a mentor. Mentors are very, very critical. And of course, they have been on this journey, and you can hear from the guys who are helping today. Some of them have 20 years experience, 10 years experience in Canada. So whatever mistake you're going to make, they already made some of them, and they are able to show you how to do things differently to help you, achieve your goals. You need to also have a job search strategy. Uh, okay, so by your there you go. Yeah, yeah. Can you up mute that? Okay, I think I got it. Okay, so in terms of job search strategy, one that I will quickly emphasize is socializing your job search, and it goes back to what I said about leveraging referrals earlier. You need to connect with people. Yeah, it's part of what you're doing right here, but I think a lot of the times people tend to think it's a one-off. People come into this type of event, and then the people that they are able to meet there, they never had any conversation with them going forward, and then they go to another meeting, the same thing repeats itself. So that is not really an effective job search approach. So you want to make sure that you are approaching your job search from multifaceted perspectives. It's not just about paperwork, even though paperwork is what we're focusing on today. The paperwork work will not be effective without connecting with the right people. It's people that are higher at the end of the day. It's not the paper. SWOT resume is the focus of today. So this is basically the type of resume that helps you to, um, to be visible to employers. Either you're on LinkedIn or you are sending a job, you are sending a job application. You want to make sure your resume is seen. A lot of resume just go straight into the trash can because they are not properly done. Neither does the machine that they're using to basically reduce the paperwork on the recruiter side. They're also not shortlisting you because you're not properly um, writing your resume. Now there is also the feedback part of things. You need to see feedback in your job search. This also goes with having a mentor. When you have a mentor, even if you are not getting feedback from the employer, which is really the frustrating part of this job search process in Canada, employers, the gatekeepers, the recruiters, basically, will not tell you exactly what is wrong because they don't want to create a situation where, um, you know, you could interpret it to mean discrimination or other things. Let's say it as it is. There's discrimination out there. It's a human thing. So, but the HR person won't come out to tell you, in clear terms that this is what happened. So if you have a mentor you're working with, they're able to really look at what is going on from an objective perspective, rather than thinking everything is happening out there is discrimination. I've heard a lot of people are really giving up on jobs totally in Canada and then just face survival for 10 years because they thought, oh, I'm not going to have a chance in Canada. That's really it's not the best way forward. It's about getting feedback as to what you're doing wrong and to see where you could improve so that you get the right opportunities. Upgrade your mindset. This is also tied to getting feedback. Well, a lot of the times I have realized that job search for some people, it's something where that the moment they don't get the type of results they are looking for, they internalize it and make it as if they are the ones that had failed, rather than it's the process, the event that has just happened that is a failure event. So people internalize these things the rejections, the frustration, and everything, and they just give up. So we need to change our mindset. We need to see it as a journey to success, and on the journey to success, a lot of failures. There's no success out there that don't start with failure. We need to change our mindset of what we call fixed mindset, where we're not just open to constructive criticism, or open to admitting that something didn't work. How do I do it differently to make it work? So all of these things are things that we need to do differently. But what I really want to do to make it a little bit practical is I want to share with you guys I want to share with you a survey question that we can really use to assess how you are doing when it comes to your job search. So bear with me. Let me quickly get this for you guys. So I'm going to share a survey link, so that you can really know where you are on this journey using this. So it would score you, and that score kind of give you an idea of where you are on this journey when it comes to job search in Canada. So second here, let me go back to the presentation. Okay, so I'm going to share the link here. This is the link. So with that link, you will answer, I think, about maybe 8 or 10 questions. So let's do that, and make sure you submit. Once you submit, it will give you the score. Basically, this is like a quick assessment of where you are on the job search journey. Um, at the end of the day, when you're done with it, it will show you like a breakdown of how you are done. But most especially, it will tell you if you passed or failed. So the pass means you're probably doing things right, and the fail means that you need to address some very important things. So that's what it is. I'm going to move forward here then. So let's now that we've talk about the assessment, let's talk about the employer's expectations, because we need to be very clear about their expectations so that we can then start doing things that aligns with those expectations. Because what I've seen a lot of the times is the employer approach to job search is actually different from the job seeker's approach to job search for the most part. And this is what we call the hiring pyramid. So when employer is hiring, they are hiring from inside out. Okay. So a lot of the times when you're applying to these jobs online, they probably have a candidate. 80% of the time. This is what they also call the hidden job search. They already have a candidate, but of course the HR process says they have to post it. Right. So they'll put it out there. So don't be surprised sometimes you were interviewed and everything kind of looks good. It appears that everybody is happy, they were smiling and everything, and then after 4 rounds, you never heard anything from them. Well, of course, if they had a preferred candidate already, that shouldn't be something that you don't understand. That okay, well, they'll prefer somebody who already understand the culture of that organization, who also are friends in the organization, because you don't get jobs, these jobs, you don't do them alone. You do it along with people who are working within the company. So this is why they're always talking about cultural fit candidates. So they won't want to have somebody who have a cultural fit with the organizational culture, where they can mingle and work well with the others who are currently working at the company. So that's usually something that the recruitment or the HR department will try to achieve. Also, they want to make sure that the recruitment process complies with companies' policies. That's why they have to post it online, and even though they have a preferred candidate. And then shortlisted candidates meet job requirements. So this is another one. So this one actually is what ties to the short resume we're talking about today, right? Even though you are a great candidate, what we have found out is a lot of people still don't, their resumes are not seen, regardless that you are fantastic and everything. They don't still see your resume because you are not meeting this particular requirement That is that the resume you are sending out, it's not really meeting the requirements of the employers from the HR perspective, right? But when it comes to the hiring manager, I actually want to say that the hiring managers have the highest influence. So, bio area, I think we have another one there. So the hiring manager actually has the most influence on the outcome of the recruitment process and their boss, right? Of course, we know their boss have. Uh, so what I'm trying to say is that when you really look at the order here, you see the hiring manager comes first before the recruitment manager. So the hiring manager's interest really is they want you to demonstrate domain expertise and that you have that drive to deliver on the job because if you are not performing, they are not performing, right? So they have a very important interest because it might affect their own performance as well. So then also they want somebody who has a visible social proof of their capability. It's not just enough for me to see a resume that it looks great, but what if I go on LinkedIn, would I be able to confirm the value proposition that this person have on their resume? And that goes where a lot of people say, "Oh, they told me I shouldn't have a LinkedIn profile." That's where they are probably not doing themselves. They are doing themselves a disservice when you don't have a LinkedIn profile because that's really like your social proof. The paper is not enough. The paper, of course, there are a lot of people who are helping writing resumes out there. So, but how do am I able to check that this person indeed has a social proof of their capabilities that they have articulated in the resume? Okay, the first place they will go is LinkedIn. So they also want to ensure that the preferred candidate can communicate clearly. So this is also a very important one. The type of jobs that we do are jobs where you communicate with clients, customers, colleagues, sometimes suppliers, depending on the type of role that you're fulfilling. So it's very important then to be able to communicate clearly. So it's always a challenge when it comes to the expectation that the hiring manager has. And we're not saying this is not really about accent. Everybody's got one. I have one myself. So, but can you communicate clearly so that they can hear you over the accent, right? So that's really what is critical here. And I've heard a lot of feedback where they will tell me, "Guy, we didn't hear anything that you were saying." And this was some of the type of feedback that we were able to get through hiring managers who were, they are not gatekeepers per se. We know they're not so trained to like, okay, try to use a different language. You know that language you get, right? Oh, you're a great candidate. However, we found somebody who is a better fit. Sometimes this is what they're saying. They couldn't hear you, but they have to, they have to positive wrap it so that it doesn't look as if, oh, this is a discriminatory type of feedback or something like that. And preferred candidate is loyal and has integrity. This is also very important for the hiring manager to make sure that this person, whatever they have done in the past, they've been loyal to their past employers, and they want to see the same thing with them. Basically they have that expectation. So the last one, you might wonder why I put job seeker as also influencing um, the recruitment process. Well, job seekers actually have a huge influence from the perspective that they are the ones that are driving some of this process in terms of maybe the resume you put in, in terms of how you perform at the mock interview. So you have some type of control. So the first two ones, the hiring manager expectation, the recruitment HR expectation, in a way you really don't have control over those. So, but this is where you have control as a job seekers. This is where you can put a lot of effort so that this control that you have, you can use it to influence or to direct how the job search process goes from your own perspective, right? Because you would go to different employers or approach different employers, but each employer's expectations, you can't not really manage them. You have some control from your own perspective, from okay, the way you write your resume, your mindset in terms of how you actually approach job interview, and getting feedback after the interviews and these type of things also are ways that you can take control of the process. So okay, let's go to the resume challenges. So here are three challenges. There are many, but I will highlight these three because it kind of connects back to the SWOT resume discussion. Um, Basically, a lot of our colleagues being foreign trained are coming with a curriculum vitae instead of a resume. A curriculum vitae is different from a resume. The way I see resume is a marketing tool, whereas curriculum vitae it's your biography. Okay, so it's a biography of your career. So a lot of people come with with this curriculum vitae, and that's what they've been using to apply to roles. And it's not going to get the type of result you want if you're using curriculum vitae. How do I know if you have curriculum vitae? The moment you are having 3 pages resume, you're having 4 pages resume, that is most likely going to be a curriculum vitae that you're using. So if you are here, your resume is 4 pages, resume is 3 pages, you're likely going to be sending a curriculum vitae out there instead of a resume. So a resume is a document that summarizes your career history, skills, and education. And most importantly, it's a document that helps to showcase your value proposition. That's the highlight, your value proposition amongst every other thing, regardless of the experiences you've had so far. What is your value proposition as compared to the expectations of the hiring manager? And usually, this is something that is detailed in the job description, right? So, the other thing is the ATS, applicant tracking software. So, well, a lot of us would say, oh, I've been sending like 100 resume every week and I'm not getting anything back. Okay, so the most likely issue here has to do with how that resume is meeting the expectation of the job requirement. And for a lot of organizations, what they've experienced in the past before they started introducing ATS that we call applicant tracking software is that more than 75% of applicants are actually not qualified. So now imagine that you are let's say you are the junior recruiter that is supposed to go through this pile of resumes that has been received. All right. You will realize that that is a frustrating job, right? And so, and organizations have been trying to eliminate this ineffective or inefficient process in their recruitment. So one of the tools that they use is ATS. So ATS is it's not so complicated. I think for the most part, all these job boards will have it at the back end. Um, and all they need to do is just set some keywords, put it in the settings of the ATS in the back end to use it to then filter through these thousands of resumes that they've received so that they pick out those resumes that are most likely or that meets about maybe 80%, depending on different type of settings they can set in the back end. They can just okay, well, choose the best 5, based on these keywords, that are important for that job. So so if you're having this question, is anybody really seeing my resume or is nobody seeing my resume? The chances are nobody is seeing your resume. If you're not getting, nobody is calling you, yeah, nobody is seeing your resume because a lot of companies use ATS, right? They could be cloud based on cloud applications or any other type of tool out there. They will have something like this in the back end. And if you have not really tailored your resume to that job description, they're likely not going to see it. That is, no human being saw it. So this basically like you are throwing your resume into the black hole, basically, because nobody is seeing it. The last one, of course, is the one that everybody knows about. Is the issue with the lack of recognition of your paperwork. And sometimes people do have this paperwork, but based on misinformation out there, like people are trying to navigate this process, and they will be getting confusing information from all kind of people, telling them, oh, don't put your qualification, oh, don't put your industry certification. I mean, why did you obtain that industry certification if you're not supposed to put it? Of course, usually they will say, oh, because they will think you are overqualified. Well, maybe you are applying to a low level job for that certification that you have. Maybe that's why you are not being selected. So there are a whole lot of issues around this qualification thing. It could be underqualified. You're underqualified in the sense that you're applying to a job that you don't really have the certification or the industry certification or the requirement for it. Or you are overqualified because you have so many years of experience and then you're applying too low. And so when people are trying to navigate this, they tend to mess up their resumes in the process. I've seen some instances of people going to these social services that helps with resume where I meet this guy later and I look at his resume and I'm confused because what he has told me about his experience is not what I'm seeing on this resume. This resume looks so shabby for the experience you are telling me you have. And then when I asked him, okay, what is going on? Well, he said the social services said, yeah, he's too qualified, and if he really wants to get a job in Canada, he has to, dumb down basically his resume. And then this is what happens where this guy now see a job where he actually has the experience for that job. Then he's sending this trashy resume to it. And then they're like, oh, they don't even see, And if they happen to even see this resume, they'll be like, nah, this is not really the quality of applicant that we would like to see. But what has just happened is that they've dumbed down your resume because they are saying you should apply to a low level role. There's no problem with starting at a low level, but then you should know how low you should go based on your experience. So that when you apply to roles, and I know a lot of people will be, once they have this resume, they'll just be, spreading it all over the place. Like we call it the spray and pray, right? The same resume they go from the social services, what they'll be using, or maybe doing some little tweak here and there that doesn't really help, anyways. So my point here is there are issues around the unrecognized qualification and experience that people have been trying to navigate, but it is also costing them, the ability to get an effective resume out there. So, what is a SWOT resume? When we do SWOT resume, basically it's based on a set of principles that we call the lean job search. So this is one of those approach that we have developed to help based on the lean job search approach. And if you know the plan, do, check, act, um, quality management principle. This is the whole of the job search roadmap. Is developed based on that principle. So the first thing is to see how you are actually doing. So we want to assess your situation, and this is where we'll do the SWOT assessments. So the SWOT assessment also apply to not only resume, but it applies to your entire job search in itself, right? So like the survey that I sent out to you guys now, this is a type of an assessment of your SWOT resume. Where we're okay, how are you doing? Actually, this one is for job search, the one that I sent out. So how are you doing so far in all of these areas that we've pointed out in the resume? So what I want to ask in the comment section is um, if you passed that survey, can you please put like a reaction, like a thumbs up? If you passed, thumbs up. Okay. So if you passed the survey that you just did now, can you indicate by putting a thumbs up in the comment box? just to see the outcome of the assessment. Okay, Victory says the result didn't show a pass or fail. I should show it. I think I tested it this morning. I think I was able to show that. If you submit it, I think you should show it. If you submitted it. Okay, somebody here said I failed. You saw didn't show a pass or fail. You didn't submit, probably. You didn't submit. Okay. Tony also said thumbs down. Okay, less than 10%. Okay. So let's indicate how we did in the assessment. Thumbs down or thumbs up. Thumbs down or thumbs up. So these are some of the things that will help you to know how well you're doing. So basically, when it comes to drafting a SWOT resume, as I mentioned earlier, is about showcasing a strong value proposition. So how do we do this? You need to review the job description to identify the important requirements. If we look at any job description, it's broken down into about 4 sections. There is a section where they will talk about themselves. The company will talk about the project that they're working on. So you can call this like the kind of an overview. But right below talking about themselves, they will actually also mention their objectives for trying to fill that role. And a lot of people do miss this. um, that aspect of the job description is to let you know this is the type of performance that we expect from any person that we hire in this role. They will tell you in very clear words, they will say what they're actually looking for in terms of their objectives for this hiring process. And you want to make sure you note that. And this is part of the things we will do in a SWOT resume. So SWOT you see here is strength, weakness, opportunities, and threat. So if you really break down a job description, you will be able to identify the areas that are strengths in terms of your strength. Okay, so if they're asking for some industry certification, if you have those industry certification, that is part of the strength that you need to highlight in your resume. If they're asking for some years of experience, they're asking for some specific experience, you need to identify these things and then make sure that you put it way up in your resume, like in the professional summary area. So highlight it there because this is one of those things that they want to use to shortlist. All right, they want to look at the resume and quickly they are able to know if this is somebody they want to interview or not. So that's one area. And then also, uh, when it comes to the job description, you will see the requirements area. So in the job description, you will see the requirements. So these are also very critical areas in the job description. You want to see areas where you have strength in those where you have weaknesses. Now, the strength is the easy part. Okay, well, if you have those things, then highlight it. Make sure it's very, very obvious in your resume, in the very top section of your resume. But then, what about those things that you do not have? Those are what we call weaknesses, right? So, these are things you want to then make sure you address. So that's all you can do about that. You can address that. So sometimes I think we have somebody there talking. So okay, so you want to make sure you address them by providing some equivalent of that. So example, they want somebody who has a PMP. Okay, so let's say you don't have a PMP, then that is a weakness. So how do you address that particular weakness when you don't have PMP? So you can indicate that you have some specific training in project management, PMBOK, but you haven't really done the PMP certification. There's a way you can write it, okay, to address that. And I also somebody talk about transferable skill sets here, so that also might be something you want to use. So that's how you address weaknesses. There's a lot of way you can address weaknesses. Um, The other thing also is about keywords, noting all of the keywords in this job description and using it throughout your resume writing to showcase a strong value proposition. And then the last one I will mention when it comes to resumes, a lot of people don't have accomplishments in their resume. So I mentioned earlier about the objectives of that need to hire that they would have mentioned way up in the resume. This is the performance expectation they have. But when you are writing your resume, you need to indicate your achievements or your accomplishments and how these accomplishments showcase your ability to achieve those desired objectives that they've articulated in the job description, right? So those are the things that I would say you need to address, especially the accomplishment ones. And the accomplishments you need to have a way up on the resume. Okay. So these are the things that I would say when it comes to SWOT resume. I don't want to belabor it. Of course, we already know our resumes have these key parts, the professional summary part. So the one that I will quickly add about the professional summary part is you want to itemize this section. Don't put one long blob of word that it becomes so boring for them to even go through, to attempt to go through it. Make it accessible. So one of the way you can make it accessible is make sure your sentences are not long and then itemize it. That way they can easily go through. We are very lazy these days with these things you wouldn't imagine. But that is just the reality. We have so many things where our attention span is become so short with technology that we don't have time to go through, these long essays that people write on the top of their resumes. Even if you have identified important things in that section of your resume, you still need to make it accessible. By the way, if you have that section in your resume, ensure that you are highlighting the requirements that are listed on the job. So this will be the expectation they have regarding the qualification or the education or the experience, specific experience that they identified. You want to make sure that you are responding to those requirements in that professional summary section because you want them to see this resume and within seconds they can make up their mind that this is somebody they want to talk to. But you don't want to make it to be, you don't want it more than just 5 bullet points. It shouldn't be more than 5 bullet. Again, you want to make it accessible. You don't want to be to make it like an essay. Make it a difficult task for them to do. Then I mentioned accomplishment. The key thing about accomplishment is it needs to be smart format. So when we say smart, I'm sure a lot of you know what smart is. Means specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and then it's time bound. So when you are talking about how you have performed or you have led an initiative in the past, you need to use this format in a way that they can see the results you have been able to achieve. All right. And then when it comes to skills, you want to highlight the skills that are relevant to the job requirement. So you realize that a lot of the things you will put here, you already did like a SWOT assessment or SWOT analysis of the job description itself. So this helps you to be able to identify those things that you want to include here. So a resume is not a biography, it's a marketing tool that highlights your value proposition in response to employers' needs. So it's about employers' needs at the end of the day. Of course, your work experiences. And the thing I will mention here is what we call the star format. The star format needs, again, it's a format that probably a lot of you are already familiar with. You want to instead of calling this star, I will actually call it SAR because we want to take the task out of it because we're talking about our experiences. So usually we will talk about maybe an activity, an initiative, or a project, some sort of things. And then you want to identify the results or the outcome of that particular project, initiative, activity that you worked on. Because at the end of the day, what they want to see is results that you have accomplished. So you can do all sort of things in different work experiences, but is it really relevant to the role that you're applying to? A lot of people always have challenges there. Okay, I worked in a health care support. Okay, but I'm looking for a project manager as well. The question will be, should I show the experience that I had in healthcare support? I would say yes, but how do you present that job to them such that they are not confused about, the person that they are trying to bring to an interview? One of the ways you will do this is try to use a word that will they can relate to, in terms of, okay, well, it's healthcare support, but you can call it operation support. That's probably part of the things you do depending on the job that you are applying to. Again, if you're applying to an inventory management role and you are doing healthcare support at this point in time, you can mention specific things that you've done in that healthcare support that are related to managing inventory, that are related to reporting about the things that you are doing in that job, or the type of work that you're doing, and any type of reporting. So things that are really relevant to the roles that you're applying to is very, very important, because this way they can see the transferable skills, you can see the relevant experiences that you're bringing to the job that you're applying to. So these are some of the things that I will mention when it comes to work experiences when you're writing SWOT resume. And by the way, you don't have to write all of the things you did in that job, especially jobs that are not relevant to the role you're applying to. If you had done something, maybe you done something um, in IT, but you are trying to switch to, let's say, procurement role. Of course, maybe you've worked in some type of team-based project where you are not directly responsible for procurement, but there's some aspects that involves you helping to review specification of that product or that software they're buying. You can actually include that in your resume to help know that, okay, there are some transferable skill sets that you are bringing to the table. So I'm going to leave that. Education, we all know that I have some little blog here that doesn't relate, but when it comes to education, there are also some challenges with a lot of people here. They want to write all the education in this world. They have PhDs and every other thing. And sometimes people will tell me, do you have to put your PhD there and things like that? Honestly, you can put your PhD there, but the important thing here is the type of jobs that you're applying to, and also making sure that in the professional summary, you only indicate the education that they have asked for in the professional summary section. Because the thing here also is that there is this aspect of the job search that is about feelings, not necessarily about paperwork. If in that first section where you have your professional summary, if you've really been able to convince them about your value proposition, honestly, they wouldn't care if you have a PhD. We know the issue usually is this the right person? Is this a great fit? And as long as you can check those boxes, sometimes it doesn't really matter. But if you feel safer not including your PhD, then don't include it. It's not important. It's not relevant to the role you're applying to. Okay. So that's what I would say. Finally, socialize your job search. I've mentioned this over and over. Some key things that I would like to show you guys here, that aside from when it comes to SWOT resume, it's not just paperwork. You have to socialize your job search. And this is a company here that does this over and over, and they have said that this is something that they've been convinced that this is how it works. So again, I said at the beginning that employers' method is actually different from job seekers' approach. Job seekers are always going online, applying online, but employers are actually hiring from inside out. And this is what Ernst & Young is saying. It's the most effective way to hire. So that is one thing I want to put out there. And the These guys also back them up. An HR consultant says that whether it's fair or not, you need to have employers make referrals for you, employees make referrals for you if you want to find a job. So again, it is not just about the paperwork. I know paperwork is the focus for today, but if you really want to be effective in writing the type of resume that we're talking about, you need to back it up with somebody you know in that company, because it matters to them. They want to know that you're able to build your social capital within a short time within the company. You're able to relate with people within the company in order for you to deliver your job. So it goes beyond just paperwork. It's also about socializing your job search, connecting with people within the company. So that's where I'll leave it. I know it's going to go beyond what I promised, but I think I'm not far beyond what we're expecting. So this is the time for us to go into the breakout session. I know when I had sent out the information about us doing breakout session, I've only seen one resume so far. Somebody, only one person sent a resume, but depending on where you are interested in. So we have 5 breakout sessions, business analyst, project management. I will be in there because I know Okiamte might not really be able to stay that much. IT and engineering is there, operations, manufacturing management, procurement and general management, supply chain and logistics. So you are able to select the one that applies to you. I hope that's the way I set it up. Are you guys able to see it? Are you guys able to see the different sections? Okay, so maybe it's the way I set it up. So just give me a second. Let me close all the ones for now. Options. Okay. Oh, okay. I think I see what is going on. Okay, so I'll allow all to choose the room that you want to go to. So that's that you should be able to do that now when I open it. So you should be able to choose where you want to go to now. Let me know if you are seeing it. So I see Paul is already in IT and engineering group. Okay, I think we still have guys in the main room. Alpha, can you able to see the sections that relate to you? No? Okay, so I can assign you. I think you kind of have an idea of where you are supposed to be. Okay, so I assign you to the logistics group. Adebola, somebody has D here. Joy, Martins, Okwemi, and Tony. So you guys are the only ones we have here. Tony, so I will add you to the general management group. That's with Christine. Okoyemi, what group are you? Okay, so Okoyemi, I'll put you with general management group. Who else here? What about Joy? Are you there? Okay, Martin says logistics and supply chain. Who else? Adepola. Can't see Adepola here. Okay. Joy, maybe she's not there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to assign Joy to supply chain and logistics. What happened to I, I think I got someone got out. Okay, maybe it's his network. I've assigned you back. I think maybe you came out because of network. I think we only have Joy here now. Titi Lola, we are in breakout rooms now. So which group do you want me to assign you? Yeah, so we're in breakout room. We have the business analysis group, the IT and engineering, operations, manufacturing, procurement and general management, supply chain and logistics. So which one is your profession? Okay, so I'll assign you that. Hello, can you guys hear me?